Hey, in this video I'm going to show you how I paint one of my favorite fish, smallmouth bass. This is about a 4-pound fish that I molded and cast myself. So here we go. The first step, as with all my other fish, is an antiquing process where I completely black out the fish. Then when that's dry, I go over the entire fish with 4/0 steel wool. This brings out all the scale detail and the fin rays. And that looks pretty good. Now we're ready to move on to some color. We'll first start with our base coats. We're going to use the same color we blacked out our fish with and just lightly touch up the back. Then I'm going to come with some white and do the lower portion of the fish. Not too much white. I still like to see the detail showing through the paint, but just enough to lighten up the belly. Just blend it in. Next I go over the belly that I just painted white halfway up the sides with a chrome pearlescence. I like using a lacquer for this simply because I haven't found a color I like as well as the water-based paints that I use on most of the rest of the fish. As long as you let things dry in between coats, I have never had trouble mixing and matching acrylics and lacquer. And the last step in my base coats is a yellow gold pearl along the back, along the darker colors. Just a light coat. And that does it for our base coats. Now it's time to start adding a little color. I'm going to start with a candy golden yellow. A moderate coat. Then along the back I'm going to spray some sparkling gold pearl. Now, since the candy colors tend to bleed through sometimes, I like to seal it with a clear lacquer. So I'm going to spray a light coat of this on. Then I'm going to come back with the white again, blend this in just a little bit better, do a little bit of detail work. Just soften that up a little bit. Now it's time for the detail. I've turned down my air pressure. I like somewhere between 10 and 20 psi for the detail. And I'm going to start out with a brown that I mix up. It's a combination of chocolate brown and black umber until I get the desired shade that I'm looking for. Again, like all my other videos, it's very important to have good reference. This is the picture I'm going by today. Because every fish is different. And I should also mention that with my detail, I thin my paints down, sometimes as much as 50%. We'll just start lightly putting some bars in. I go very lightly at first, then I come back and highlight individual scales. Do the cheek markings the same way. And my markings along the back. Then I also come in and do individual fin rays. And the trailing edge. Darken it up a little bit. Just sporadic, so things aren't too uniform. Always light it first. You can always come in and darken. Now when I get my barring to my liking, I come in with a black umber and just do the trailing edges of the tail. And the dorsal fin. And a little darker detail on the cheek here. I'm also going to just mist just a little bit. Just a little bit on the bottom half, the belly. Just so it's not too white. And that's what this particular reference photo shows. Now I'm going to put a little white marking here that all's kind of a noticeable marking that most all smallmouth have. This fish could now be considered done. However, I'm going to do a little more detail. I'm going to come in with yellow ochre and sienna, do some detail in the mouth, around the eyes. Might even mist a little sienna on the fins, give them a little reddish tint. You can really, at this point, dink with this fish for as long as you want to get the results that you're happy with. Now a little sienna. Now the last thing I like to do is scale tip the backs of the fish. This is a brilliant gold Pearl X powder. and I just hit the tips of each of the scales. I hope you can see this. I'm not hitting every single scale, but just periodically. And this is the process. Probably going to take me 15 or 20 minutes to do. I think it's well worth the effort. I won't bore you with showing every single scale on this fish, but I think you get the idea. Now I'm going to seal this whole fish with another coat of clear lacquer. That'll seal the scale tipping that I did. And when this dries, we'll be ready for our final gloss coat, and this fish will be done. Now it's time for the final gloss coat. I'm using a 2-part automotive gloss, and I spray on a thin flash coat, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then give it a final heavier coat. And now the final heavier gloss coat. I should point out, when you use an automotive 2-part, make sure you use proper safety equipment, respirator, gloves, glasses, things like that. This stuff is pretty nasty, but the results are well worth it. And there you have it, the finished product. Thanks for watching.